Now look, picture this. One of the most recognizable faces in urban media and television. I'm talking about a man that built his entire brand on truth, justice, and calling out the nonsense. Steps forward and says something that catches everybody off guard. And I'm talking about Judge Greg Mathis, the judge that been schooling people in the courtroom for over 2 decades. He just made it clear that he doesn't think Diddy is a gangster at all. And with all the headlines, lawsuits, and courtroom allegations, this was the last thing we expected to hear. Now, y'all go ahead and make sure y'all stay to the end of this episode because we about to go ahead and do a quick dive into what Judge Greg Mathis had to say about Diddy. Welcome back to another episode of Eyes Low, Belly Full. As y'all know, this marks episode number 53. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, we all know what's going on with P. Diddy right now. It's all the lawsuits, allegations, the trial, people coming forward saying this and that. Like, it's a lot of things going on with Diddy right now. It's crazy. And then, of course, here comes Judge Mathis. Now, Judge Mathis have a podcast called the Mathis Verdict. And when him and his son was talking on one of the episodes, he was mentioning that Diddy's not a gangster. That's just not who he is. You feel what I'm saying? And now let's pause for a second because this coming from a man who actually know what gangster look like. You feel what I'm saying? Judge Mathis actually lived it a little bit. I mean, before the robe and the bench, Judge Mathis actually ran the streets of Detroit back in the day. You feel what I'm saying? He even did a little time in juvie. He just happened to pull himself out the chaos and mature up. You feel what I'm saying? So when he speaks on authenticity and everything like that, people listen. And when he says that Diddy's image is more theater than thug, that hits different. He basically saying Diddy's an actor, man. Judge Mathis tried flexing on Diddy a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? Nah, I'm just messing with y'all. But Mathis even takes us deeper, pointing out that Diddy grew up in the Catholic school. Like he don't have no gang ties, no dope dealing past, and no past survival stories or anything like that. So that leads us to the question, where did all the gangster energy come from?
He has a temper, and he's known for that. And people are in fear because of his temper. But street guys don't fear him because they know he's never been in the street. He was a kid, went to Catholic school, and then he was bullied. He tried to join up with some little gang in New York, I think Harlem, that weren't even engaging in crime. Mm-hmm. And his father, who was killed, was a big gangster in New York. And from my understanding, his mother, she wasn't nothing to play with, and she was associated with his friends from the past. Like I'm associated with my friend gangsters from the past. Right. And so there was a sense of fear in New York that the folks that were close to there was one in particular who was close to his dad, and everybody feared. Everybody feared in the nation. And so some say that that's why he felt such the liberty of being a tough guy.
Amir Mathis, which is Judge Greg Mathis' son, he spoke up on a podcast. You feel what I'm saying? And he dropped another jewel.
100%. But then when he got big, he said, I got to be a gangster, even to have the respect of Biggie and his boys. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't want you to hang out with them. They don't want no square hanging out with them. You're the president of the record company. Right. So you definitely don't need to be down here with us. But that's what he did.
Not the president of one of y'all.
That's right.
That's why he was hopping on all the albums.
Right. There you go.
Hopping all in the songs.
That Suge Knight. All in the videos.
But yeah, that's what I say. When you fully start embodying that, with more time, you become that person. Just like a person who tells a lie so many times, they start believing that lie.
Good point.
And so I no doubt believe that he believes that he is a gangster.
Now, at the end of that clip, you heard Judge Mathis' son say, you tell yourself a lie long enough, you actually start to believe it. And that line sums up a lot. And that's a true line for a lot of people. For everybody in general, if you tell yourself a lie long enough, you do actually start to believe it. Now, it's not just about pretending. When the money starts rolling in and the world starts to cheer you on for playing that gangster persona, that larger than life persona, you know, the lines start to blur between performance and personality. And that's where you lose yourself. And he took that power, dominance, and fearlessness image way too far. That's why he's in the situation that he's in now. You feel what I'm saying? And let's be clear. This isn't about giving Diddy a pass or anything like that. There are serious allegations against him right now. Some serious allegations. I mean, the FBI don't raid your home for no reason, Slim. And a lot of people ain't coming forward for no reason. I don't know if people just coming forward for his money or just to get a piece of the pie, something like that. But it's a lot of people coming forward. And like 9 times out of 10, all of them can't be lying. But what Judge Mathis is doing is something much deeper. He's separating the man from the myth. And yes, Diddy may have created a gangster brand, but when you strip it all down, he's just a plain old businessman. You feel what I'm saying? And he's also a media mogul and a guy that got rich by selling a fantasy. And fantasies can be dangerous when you believe them too much. Because when you think you're above the law, when you think you're untouchable, and when you think you're above morality, that's when people fall. Now, what Judge Mathis said opens up a bigger conversation about hip hop, masculinity, and performative power. I mean, how many rappers are out here living a lie? And how many rappers are out here wearing trauma like jewelry just to sell records? A lot. And what happens when that lie becomes their reality? You feel what I'm saying? I mean, we done seen it before. For example, Tekashi 6ix9ine. And he was doing all this gangster rapping and everything, but when shit got real, he turned around and ratted. You feel what I'm saying? And Rick Ross, he used to be a correctional officer, but out here rapping like he was a kingpin. You feel what I'm saying? He even took the name from the real kingpin, Rick Ross. And now Diddy, one of the most powerful men in music, may be caught up in the web of his own creation. You feel what I'm saying? When you put out that image of untouchable, things can get ugly. So what's next for Diddy? Well, that's up to the courts, the facts, and the people that's testifying under oath. But Judge Mathis gave us something we don't hear enough. Nuance. And he didn't defend Diddy and he didn't attack Diddy. He just reminded us that sometimes the loudest voice is just echoes of our identity crisis. And if Diddy really believed he was a gangster, the scariest part is probably not what he did, but what he told himself to justify it. Now, I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think about what Judge Mathis says? Go ahead and give me your opinion on that. And do y'all think Diddy really got some gangster in him? Or he just told himself that he was a gangster so long that he really started to believe it? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And if this video resonated with you, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hit that like button for me. And go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification for more episodes. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Peace.